Hello folks, time for another video and shave. Alright, so today I decided, you know what, it's been a long time on this traditional wet shaving journey, so this is going to be my retro shave, meaning my personal retro shave, as far as kind of like what I started out with, like when I first started traditional wet shaving after I ditch the cartridge scene. Back in 2006, I'm sure this story has been told before on my channel, but I figured I'd revisit it again. My wife bought me the Vanderhagen set for Christmas in 2006. And it came with the bowl, a little brush, a hard little puck, and the Vanderhagen razor, which I don't have that razor anymore. I'm kind of bummed. I actually got rid of that a long time ago. But the next razor I bought after the fact was I bought the Merkur 38c, and I used that razor and I liked it, but I didn't like that the handle was so short, so I wound up giving that to my father, who never used it. But I brought myself a 38c, which is the same head as a 34c, just with a longer handle. I just wanted that a little bit of longer handle. And one of the first blades that I picked up for this razor, after the Vanderhagen blades wore out, and they weren't that good to me anyway. They were okay, but the next razor blade I bought in bulk after watching some YouTube videos and, doing a little research, was I bought crystal blades. Now, they come in this nice little plastic tuck, kind of like what a lot of companies do. Like I know the Feathers come in this. And they come like a little blister pack. I saved one of the blister packs, and that's what it looks like. And they have a nickname. I don't know if it's true, but they're called the Israeli Personas. Now these blades are made in Israel. I think it says right there in the package, made in Israel. I've had these blades. In fact, when I bought these originally, I think it was 220 blades for, I think it was maybe $20 or something around there. So I still have some left. I still use them, not as much as I used to. And there are 10 blades in each little plastic tuck. So I have a brand new crystal blade in there today. And one of the soaps that I use, I have to tell you, I was using this soap for, I want to say, at least 10 years. Like non-stop. Like this was the only soap I really bought, except for this and the coconut, was Taylorville Bond Street Sandalwood. I mean, it's no lie, no joke. I've used this soap for, oh my God. That's the problem with my nose nowadays, is when I think of sandalwood, or when I try another sandalwood scent, if it doesn't equal this sandalwood, for some reason I don't like it. And I have two more of these left, and this one is actually getting down to the bottom there. Now, I've never bowl lathered with these, because I never bowl lathered any of the Taylorville Bond Street way back in 2007-ish, 2006 days. I used to take my brush, and I also broke out a brush, which was my first real brush after the little crappy Ambroley brush I had. The Vanderhagen is Ambroley, which they're out of business now. They no longer make this brush. I don't know if you can see that cool little logo there. But it was a Super Badger. I think it was a 24 mil. I'm not really sure. I've been soaking this brush. And how I used to do it is I would just take the brush, I would soak it. I would take the container of Taylorville Bond, and I would get a little bit of the soap, and I would put it right down there in the knot, a little dollop right there in the knot, and I would basically face lather it, because back then I didn't use any kind of pre-shaves or anything like that. So let's get this Glen retro shave going on. So I'm going to wet my face. Like I said, I didn't use any pre-shaves back then, so I'm going to forego the pre-shave, and I haven't used this brush actually in a while. I've used this brush on camera before, but it was a while. And to tell you the truth, I went through all my videos today, and I've never used a Televal Bond Street Sandalwood on camera. And that used to be my go-to soap, because that's the only soap that I used to use, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know all these artisan soaps, and actually there weren't a lot of artisan soaps back then. Alright, so now I have this brush loaded up with that little dollop of Televal Bond Street Sandalwood, and I'll just face lather this. This brush is super soft. I should have shook it out a little bit because this brush does hold a lot of water. I was actually sad when I checked on this brush about a year ago and found out the company no longer exists as a shaving company. Now they make vitamins or something like that. But this was an Ambroley brush. It actually had great ratings. That's why I bought it back then. In fact, I believe Amazon was just coming into selling product, and I bought this off of Amazon. And I believe this was the day way before Amazon Prime existed. Because in the beginning there, Amazon was just selling books and stuff like that. And then, you know, of course, they started selling product. It's been such a long time since I used this brush. It's so soft. And it wasn't cheap either. I think it was like $70 or $80. It was definitely before any kind of artisan brushes that I looked at. In fact, I didn't get an artisan brush until way later. But that's a great, you know, like I says, every time I use a product that's sandalwood, nowadays I always go back to the way that the Televal Bond Street sandalwood is, isn't it? That's why sometimes it ruins me when it comes to other artisans that make sandalwood sense, because my nose is so tuned into Televal Bond Street sandalwood. And of course, back in the day, I didn't make any videos, so I didn't have my shirt on. And I didn't have to worry about the lather getting all over my shirt. But anyway. Alrighty. So let's go with that Merkur 38c with the crystal blade. So reminiscent of the early days of me shaving. Then I remember after I started with that Vanderhagen set, I went online to look if anybody had any videos, and there was only a few guys making videos back then. And if I remember correctly, I remember one of them was Busta. I don't think he makes videos anymore. And there was Nick. And that's who I used to watch back in the day, who kind of gave you the techniques and what kind of soaps and brushes. And I really liked the Televal Bond Street because I used to lather up that Vanderhagen soap in that little ceramic bowl they gave you, and it was always a nightmare. I always had problems with the puck spinning around because I didn't know how to secure the little hard puck, you know, on the bottom of the little bowl. And that's really the only reason why I started watching the videos. And then when I found Teller Bond Street, it was already a cream. And I put it on my brush. And I was like, this is great. This is so easy. And then when I also switched to the Merkur razor, it was so much smoother of a shave than that Vanderhagen razor I had. I wish I would have kept it just for, you know, nostalgia reasons, but I got rid of it. I don't even remember if I gave it. I think I gave it away to, I don't know, somebody. I don't remember who. But I remember my 34C I gave to my father. And he never uses it. He still doesn't get my whole crazy obsession with traditional wet shaving. That was definitely a great first pass. Alright, back to the Ambroley brush with the Teller Bond Street Sandalwood. Some people can't stand this soap. That irritates their skin, and they don't like the sandalwood scent because it's pretty heavy duty as far as sandalwood. But I love it. I pretty much started out on the sandalwood and the almond, and then when they came out with the coconut, and then of course the grapefruit, which I love the grapefruit. It's so, you know, creamy and smooth, and since it's made in England, it's just, I don't know, it just brings me back to another time. I remember when I first got the crystal blades too, I was like, I think I cut myself the first couple times I used it, and I was like, wow, these blades are too sharp. But then, you know, after watching a couple of the shaving gurus out there, they were like, just, you know, stick with it. And I'm trying to really remember who was on YouTube back in like 2007. I know Ken Surfs wasn't around yet. I know Paul H might have been, but I don't remember. But I just remember Busta. And I remember Nick. Because I used to watch Nick before he had a shaving channel. He used to have a helicopter, RC helicopter page on YouTube. And I was into that back in the day too, so. This razor is so smooth. It's funny because now I have like so many different razors, and you know, sometimes you forget, you know, where you came from. You know, what got you to where you are as far as when it comes to shaving. That's why I said, you know, anytime I shave with somebody else's sandalwood scent, if it's not, you know, sandalwood like Teller Bond, I get like freaky out. I'm like, what? It's not the same. And I got to realize that, well, you know, not all sandalwoods are the same as Teller Bond Street sandalwood, so. But is nice. I do love the scent. Like I said, some people do not. I know some folks break out from it or get irritation from the sandalwood from Taylor Bond, but it treats my skin nicely. It always has. I really wish I knew what happened to my old Vanderhagen brush. It was a little brush. It came with a little ceramic bowl. The bowl I actually still have. It's actually in my bedroom. I use it as a change bowl that I leave on my dresser. But I don't know what happened to that brush. I don't know if it made the move with us or if it's still in my storage unit. I'm not sure. I actually asked my wife about it the other day, and she's just like, don't you have enough brushes? And I was like, yeah, I know, but I was looking for my old one. It was just a little brush, you know, nothing nothing spectacular. But it's the one that came with that Vanderhagen bowl and soap set. Because the razor came separate. I remember the butterfly Vanderhagen razor, and that was in the separate box. And then the soap, the brush, and the bowl was in another box. I think I'm going to end it there because I feel pretty good. Gotta empty my sink because it's looking a little fuzzy. Yeah, so I just felt like going a little back in time today for myself. Just a little back in time shave. Just gonna rinse out my sink real quick. Because it is looking a bit fuzzy from all the stuff that I just cut off. Just want to close my Taylor Bond Street sandalwood there. I'm going to do a quick little cold water rinse. Water's nice and cold. It's actually been nice and cold here the last couple days. It's like, you know, winter turned itself back on again. Telling you, my sink sounds like some crazy sea monster. Awesome. Alright, so I'll just recap it real quick before I throw on my post shave. So that was Taylor Bond Street, a sandalwood. That is my retro shaving start. And razor was the Merkur 38c, which is the exact same razor head as a 34c, except it has a longer, nice barbershop handle. And blade that was in there was one of the first custom, not custom, but you know, one of the most bulk blades I've ever bought was the crystals, aka the Israeli personas. And I don't actually know if that's what it's really the deal is, but that's what its nickname was online. And the blade looks like this. It just says Super Platinum on it, I believe. Right there. It comes in this nice little plastic 10-pack tuck, which comes in this blister pack that says Crystal Double Edge. And that's the back of the pack. Figured I'd save that because I don't know if the packaging is ever going to change, but that's how I bought them. It came with, like, I think it came with 20 of those blister packs in a box. It's been so long. But I've had them for many years, and I still have, you know, a couple tucks left. So, all right. And brush, which is sad to say that a company no longer has shaving supplies, which was Ambroley, which I'll show you right now. Which was the Ambroley, was the Super Badger. And you can see how much soap got left in there, which is, you know, pretty decent enough for another pass or two. I've seen this style of brush still on Amazon, I believe, by different manufacturers. But when I bought this brush, I remember looking, you know, searching the web way back. You know, this was, when I got this brush, it was 2007. And I remember going, you know, looking, and, you know, I saw The Simpsons, and I'm like, boy, that didn't kill, I don't want to spend that much. And like I said, I don't remember any artisan brushes coming to mind at that time. It was a lot of like Smoke and Omega and Parker brushes, and like I said, Simpsons. And I came across this Ambroley brush. I believe it was either like 60 or 70 or maybe $80. I remember it was, my wife was like, wow, that's a lot for a brush. So, you know, only if she knew now. So, I picked that up, and then they had other things. They made razors and other supplies, but I only really got the brush from them. And when I checked on this company about, when I made a video about a year ago, they were no longer, and I was kind of bummed out. It has a guy on the handle, on this nice little wooden handle, with like a top hat. I don't know if you can see the logo. Right there, it says Ambroley on it. It's got that very cool knot. The metal base. Yeah, this was my first real purchase of a brush. And I got this in 2000. I know it was 2007 because my wife got me that other set in 2006, and it was a couple months before I used it, and it was after the new year. So after I used that brush for a while, I was like, I want to get something that's real. So I thought this was the bee's knees, the Ambroley. So sad I do not around anymore. Alright, so then I was like, what do I put on my face after? You know, I was like, this was before, you know, artisan, you know, aftershaves and aftershave bombs and all kinds of stuff. So I've always been a Clubman Pinaud guy. And my barber sells these in these nice 16-ounce containers. So I always used to get these at my barber. It's actually a little bit cheaper now. I get them off of Amazon because my barber wants a little bit more than what Amazon charges. So we go with the slather that on nice with the Clubman Pinaud Classic. I know it doesn't match the Sandalwood, but hey, it's all I had back in the day. Actually, I think I used to use Aqua Velva, and then I had some Old Spice regular aftershave, but mostly it was the Pinaud and the big old 16-ounce size. Alright, so if you guys enjoyed my retro shave today, meaning my retro shave, not like going back to the 1900s retro shave, just my retro shave going back to like 2007, 2006. So if you enjoyed it, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate all my subscribers. You guys are awesome. And until next shave, yeah, Glenn signing off.